In this video, we'll discuss quickly and briefly all of Facebook's targeting options, and then we'll go into details in each one in the following videos. So let's jump straight to it. The guys over at WordStream took the time to make a very cool infographic that shows pretty much all of Facebook's targeting options. So let's start with them one by one. First of all, you have locations. When it comes to locations, you have four options. That would be everyone in the location that you choose, whether it's Germany or a specific city like Berlin or even a neighborhood. And you could also choose people who are in this location, people who live in this location, people who have recently been in this location, or people who are currently traveling to this location. And you have lots of options on the location front as well. I'll show you how they work in details in the next videos. Gender, you can choose men, women, and all. You have age selection. Obviously, you can select the minimum and maximum age of the people who you want to target. You can also use language. So generally, language is not something that you use all the time. For example, if you are targeting the United States and maybe the state of California, you can maybe set Spanish. If your ads are in Spanish and you want to target people who are specifically targeting Spanish, because there's a lot of people speaking Spanish in California, but you don't specifically need to put English, since everyone in California pretty much speaks English. And so, for example, if you're targeting Germany, you don't need to really put Germany in there. Unless you want to specifically target people who are using Facebook in German, right? So that would exclude people who are in Germany but using Facebook in English. And then you have income. A lot of people don't know about this. It works only in the United States, but you have household income. So if you select in your location options the United States, you will have the ability to select household income, and you can target by zip codes and the top 25 to 50, 10 to 25, 10 and 5% of the top household incomes in the United States. You can also target by relationship status. So all of these options are available on that front as well. You also have education, where one of the primary options is education level, targeting based on the degree or college or some college or graduate school, high school, master's, professional degree, unspecified, and so on. And you can choose these options as well. You can select specific fields of study where you can search. For example, if someone is studying marketing or medicine or law, and you can target by specific schools and universities, of course. For example, you could target like Harvard and Stanford, or you could target specific schools, and you can also target undergrad years. On the work front, you have several options. You have industries. So within the industries, you have many different industries that you can target. So those would be people who work in this industry. You can target by job titles, and job titles are a bit tricky. So there you can also use Facebook's suggestion options to more broadly target the job titles that you work for, because, for example, the same job title can be called into different ways, as I'll show you a little bit later on. For example, a CEO and a managing director and a managing partner and an executive director could really be the same thing. You could also target employers. Of course, this really works for some of the bigger companies. For example, like if you want to target Coca-Cola employees, it might work. And if you want to target a very small local business, it might not really help you that much. You can also target parents. You can target new parents, parents with toddlers, parents with preschoolers, parents with early school, preteens, teenagers, and with adult children. You can also target by life events, things like anniversaries, birthdays, and friends of some people, people who got a new job, new relationship, who are in a long distance relationship, people away from their family, away from their hometown, or who recently moved. These audiences are actually pretty cool because the fact that they are based on these life events makes them refresh over time. So for example, if you target an anniversary, like people who have an anniversary within 30 days are going to be different in January than the ones in February. So all the time, this is in what we call kind of an evergreen audience, and it's just one example of this kind of audience. You can also target by politics in the United States. You can choose between liberal, very conservative, very liberal, moderate, conservative, and so on. And that might help you in certain cases. You also can target by interests. Now, interests are specific and they are quite a lot. So this list that you see over here is definitely not exhaustive, but the way that this interests are formed is also very important. So as you can see, you can reach specific audiences by looking at their interests, activities, and the pages they liked, and the closely related topics. So you can use those to expand your ads reach. And there's lots of different interests, and they are again best found by using the search box in the interests and also using the suggestion box. So for example, if you wanted to target people who are interested in architecture, you would maybe select one of the big categories of the big interests and then try and find all the other suggested interests over there. I'll show you how to do that. There's several big categories of interest like business and industry, entertainment, family and relationships, fitness and wellness, food and drink, hobbies, activities, shopping, fashion, sports, technology, and page likes. So for example, you can also select people who like a specific page. Of course, that page needs to be significantly big so that you don't end up targeting one person specifically. In general, I think the threshold is about 100,000 followers. So you will not be able to see all different pages over there, but you can still use that for some of the bigger ones. And mostly you really want to use it for the bigger ones. You can also target by behaviors, so you can reach people based on purchase behaviors or intent or device usage and more. And some behavior data is available again only for the United States. We hope that will change in the future, but as it is right now, that's the case. So first of all, you can target by mobile device usage. So you can target by device brand. So you can target, for example, iPhone users and Android users. You could target like Samsung phones and Apple phones. You could target by operating system. There's some Android options as well. There's the Facebook access on mobile and some different types of smartphones and tablets. And you can also target them by their network connection and by mobile device use time. So for example, you could be targeting people who are binge scrolling their feed on Facebook, or maybe you could want to exclude these guys from your campaigns with the intent to not overspend. Of course, you have your anniversary within some days. You have consumer classification, people who prefer mid and high value goods and people who prefer high value goods. It's interesting that you can't target people who prefer low value goods like cheap stuff, but weird as it is, that's the fact. Right now you can target expats, meaning people who are foreigners, not from the country that they're currently in, which is very, very cool and sometimes can be used very creatively. You can also target by digital activities like console gamers, like Facebook payments users, and people who spend a little bit more on Facebook payments. Those are generally end up being advertisers, especially if you target outside of the United States. You're most likely to target other advertisers. You also can target by Facebook access on older devices and operating systems. One of the interesting ones here is the Facebook page admins, which, depending on the category and other interests that you select as well, can be very, very interesting. For example, this is a good way to target business owners or people who are focused in specific areas and are influential about that and maybe creating a business about it. You can target by primary email domain. That would be, for example, Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail. And you can target small business owners, which is kind of different than the Facebook page admins. Both can be used to target small business owners, actually. And another cool one is the technology early adopters. You can target people who are interested in upcoming events if you are the owner of those events. Like, for example, if someone RSVP to your event, you could have a retargeting campaign to remind them about the event, like at the same day, maybe, or the day before. You can target marketing API developers, which can be cool. For example, if you want to hire them, or if they're your target audience for some reason. You can target engaged shoppers, which is basically kind of an on-off option. And sometimes it can help you improve the efficiency of your campaigns. There's also multicultural affinity in the United States, where you can target African Americans, Asian Americans, and Hispanics, which sounds a little bit weird, since you can't target like white people, and they are, I guess, not multicultural. Sounds a little bit racist to me, but anyways, you can do that if that's what you want to do. There's also soccer fans as well, which are a separate category than normal people again. And you have travel. Travel is interesting as well, because you can target commuters and frequent travelers, frequent international travelers, and people who recently returned in a specific place. You can also target by connections, and connections are people who like your page, friends of people who like your page, people who, and you can also exclude those, like people who already know you. You don't want to be advertising to them, maybe. You can target people based on apps, like people who have used or downloaded your app, or you can exclude those. For example, you can maybe try to upsell them something, or exclude them if you want to have a kind of a top of the funnel campaign. You can also target by events, people who responded to your event and people who have seen your events. And you also have a huge number of remarketing options, which are not very well explained here, but those would be your website visitors based on all the different events that we discussed already. You can have custom lists of emails, custom lists of phone numbers, and custom lists of Facebook user IDs through your Facebook pixel, which you can turn into remarketing audiences. Then that would be the short overview of the Facebook targeting options. Now, in the next video, we'll start by creating an ad set and diving deep into the details of all of these targeting options.